Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake Chats 2017. And it really has been a day for the books. As such, I just really want to come here and talk. Just as a person. And I think it's one of the first times I've really felt cool about that. And not sort of, in a way, just kind of like, it's the lesser of two expressions. And, you know, I mean, even one of those last videos of, hey, I've got limited knowledge base. Well, you know, like I've said, my head's sort of been blown apart today. Again and again. And again and again and again. It's just really been crazy. And literally, I was sitting here just now. Remembering a time about a year and a quarter ago when I was in a very, very similar situation. And I was sitting down, head down, eyes closed, feeling so physically expanded, like there was a wind blowing through me. My whole reality turned into a super highway. Of things I can't even language. That I'm feeling intensely as it's happening. And as it's happening today, I'm thinking just now. Without any kind of fear anymore, without any kind of sense of insecurity or doubt or, you know, I had a certainty I was going to fail no matter what I did. None of that's there. Just curiosity. Now, how do I manage this again? Because there's so much coming in. And I literally could just stay there. I kind of have today. It's Sunday, so I can. And I really wanted to. And I could. And so I did. And so I've been just completely devoted to study. And that truly is my favorite thing. It's what I indulge in. Or I guess I can use past tense. I used to indulge myself that way when I was a full-time nurse and mom. My indulgence was to just, I don't know how I can describe it. When you go off into a study, and the more you discover, the more it enforces everything you've learned and stokes the fire to learn more. And you just gotta keep going, you gotta keep going, you gotta keep going. Well, you know, you can do that for free with the internet or a few books. You can do it in meditation. It's, for me, a lifestyle. It's more of just, I don't know, just feeling lifted up by something. And I'm very obliging. I've learned. I just oblige. Oh, I'm going to go over there. Oh, I'm going to learn that. Oh, I see. Oh, I see how that connects. Yep, that makes sense. La la. And now I've been at this for a while, you know, really going at it for about 5 years. And it's really fun to watch it all kind of plunk into place. And I learned about the Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius, which is, I think, where those, I don't know, the eclipses were. I'm not really sure. I think so. Yeah. Saturn. Yikes. That's that's some tricky energy. And In my chart, that's conjunct Jupiter. Talk about strange bedfellows. I love it. I love it. It's just luscious. It's amazing. I'm well done. I keep looking at my chart and saying, well done. And I've said, I think that's how everybody should feel about their chart. To get to the place where you've studied it, and I mean, it's funny how you can keep studying it and, oh, I didn't notice that. It's fun. So, like I said, maybe this is just, maybe you just use it as isn't that precious when somebody who's a little on the spectrum finds a brand new thing to spelunk. It's true. And but it's great right now because it is running alongside some parallel studies. And I'm in a position where I am cautious with my funds, and I live a quiet life, and it can be not devoted to any one thing, but certainly can allow for leisure time to be spent in study rather than in simple relaxation. And I don't know, I would spend most of my leisure time when I was working full time sort of in like my I was sort of chapped by the whole thing. Really, I have to work 5 days a week and I get 2 days to unplug. That doesn't seem quite right. It should be reversed. So it's nice to finally have a pace that agrees with my natural rhythms, and I don't think that it is appropriate to say that I'm lying fallow. I think this is some of the best work of my life just here lately. So, and of course it's breathed with the breath of life. That happened one other time when a number of just very profound things happened in my real life, and then also there was just this blossoming. It was just insane, and it had happened previous too, but these events just went. It was like, I don't know, like gasoline. It was amazing, and so, I really at this point, everything is everything is coded for enlightenment. That's the game afoot. And then you get to the bottom line of, okay, what's enlightenment? So I really want to talk about that just as a human being. So what does that mean? Alright, it means I walk around and know all this crap. Who the heck cares? Knowing this stuff, you know what it means? That has a way of, I don't know, distancing you from everybody. You want to hear somebody howl about it? Oh, right, just plug in any video of mine. Oh, woe is me. I'm not a part of the crowd. They don't understand me. Well, come on now. Who has the natural ability and willingness to devote the kind of rapt attention and passion and joy that I feel in the study of golly, anything that feeds into this beautiful, coherent pattern of benevolent reality. So that's all right. So I'm different. So what? That's fine. And this has really been part of it. Can you believe it? This whole time, I was grieving not being normal. I was. because the only thing I ever wanted was to connect with one other human being who I loved and who loved me. That's it. It's the only thing that really makes sense around here. Everything else is bullshit. Everything else makes you bleed. I don't want any part of it. So to me that was like, la la. Yeah. And so it was part of my path to learn about all the different kinds of love, and to have my head sort of blossom into possibilities other than this monadic sort of thing that was just like a drum beat. And I held everything to that standard. And I mean, for I don't know, I would have to say probably for lifetimes. I mean, you just gotta trust me on this. It's a big deal. The whole marriage bond and the union thing and the man and woman thing, the whole thing. It's just like, whoa. Heavily charged. And so yeah, I kind of went in there. Did some things, learned some lessons, and had some fun. And now I kind of feel like, well, I want to check, because Cryon did a tape, and he mentioned it. Then he referred to it. I mean, once you're done with it, once the DNA is, I don't know, functioning better, do you really need the support of the constructs, of the geometries, of the natal chart to guide your every move and breath? Is it necessary? And, they say, well, not really. Not really. And I contend that it's more of a you just automatically know, and your reality begins to tell you what the truth is about your orientation, that's more in alignment with a bigger reality or whatever. I don't know. I haven't been given that little portion of the programming. I don't know. What am I know there are some signs I stay far, far, far away from. And I have hoity-toity thoughts about stuff like that. It's like, come on, what kind of a judgmental astrologer was I in some past life in Persia or something? Maybe that's why I don't have access this lifetime, because I was naughty before, you think. So there it is. And so yeah, all this time, well, if I go forward, if I become myself, no one will love me. Well, truth is, the kind of love I always wanted evaded me anyway. So maybe that wasn't the best kind for me, although you still can't convince me I'm wrong about that. You can't convince me I'm wrong. Sorry. But, alright. The calisthenics are complete. The eclipses are nearly complete. So I've been listening to some videos, and it's like, okay, well, I guess that, I don't know, like 6 months after the eclipse, in February, people were kind of still feeling it, and I started. We felt it. What was that night? No, it was actually the day before. It was the night before, but I didn't hear about it. I didn't get the word until the day of the eclipse. Yeah. And that was, that was like the tower card in our lives, my son and I, on that day. But then, like I said, there was like this eraser that would just come in and say, oh, well, that's very nice writing, very, very nicely done, but here's an eraser. Oh, you want to try it again? No, here's an eraser. It was like that. And I guess that goes on for about 6 months, so that would be around August. And here we are again. So one of the ladies said that you know, eclipses, there's usually sudden catastrophic change. Catastrophic doesn't mean horrible, although it can mean death. I mean, it depends on where it's placed and what you need to do. But something needs to give. That's the idea. Something's old, and it's going to be replaced. Boop. And I don't know, right now, looking at my life, it's like, well, I pretty much am pretty alright with everything. I've made peace. It's, you know, I used to have this, really, honestly, I can't report that I'm happy. I'm not. I don't have these things that I want. I don't have these situations I want. I don't have this completion that I want. I don't have this sense of okayness that I need. And until I have that, no. So it's nice to have more and more of that sense of okayness. It's still not there. I still feel incomplete. I may always. Such is life. But I think that perhaps this eclipse can lead to some peace and healing, and certainly movement forward. And what I really know is that, you know, this is really the, if we're looking at 4 to 6 months after this eclipse, then we're looking at the winter solstice, and then finally to February, which is my birthday. So what a year. My goodness. And when I do take a look back and I listened to a video about the Saturn transit or something like that. That's from 2015 or 2015 to 2017 or 2014 to 2017. It's just uncanny. And like I always say, I know I'm not the only one. And now, with this eclipse, so many planets are in retrograde. And it's very much fun if you take a look at your chart, because if there's a planet in retrograde, that adds even more spiciness to your chart. So I do understand that if you're not into astrology, this might be boring for you. But I want you to understand that I'm not into astrology either, okay? I have Linda Goodman's sun sign. That's my Bible. And yeah, I've done a lot of the research. You better believe it. But really, I spend about as much time on astrology, really, as I do anything else, which is very little. I just kind of, unless something goes boom, goes a dynamite, and I get interested, I don't spend a lot of time on it. Except music. I listen to music a lot. But that's why I'm saying, for me to have my attention so fully drawn to astrology and to eclipses, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, where do I go next? What? Oh, that's a good website. Oh yeah, let me check that out. And then it begins. Then the discovery phase begins. So, is it okay to have amnesia? Golly, when I'm discovering and I feel like I've got, you know, a pith helmet on and a little hammer, and I'm whacking away for diamonds, and I find rubies and sapphires and emeralds, well, then sure, it's the most fun of all. But that's how I want to end. I went to SGI today, and the whole point, I didn't really understand about this practice and why it was in my life until I had this moment today, and I realized that you know, the idea behind Nichiren Buddhism and and the way that they practice, and the idea of Kosen Rufu, which is world peace, for everyone to be happy. Well, it takes this principle, all of this hard work, the Hades, the underground, the whatever her name is, all of these beautiful things, and then the personal mythology of the teachers and my desert, and oh, my great love for the Jesus and all of that Judeo-Christian stuff. Plus, I've got all that Eastern stuff with the Hindu love, and oh, my Shiva. Well, you know, it's all a little much. Obviously, it's taken me a long time to describe it, to explain it, and I guess to tame it, or maybe just to quiet it, because it needed to finally be heard. But this part of me that so needed to just stretch out has, and it feels good. And stretched out like that, then it becomes, hey, what am I really doing here? I don't feel like I have clay feet. I feel like I have itchy feet. And I acknowledge that there are things in the physical that I do shrink and expand and shrink my consciousness, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make me stupid to go down along with other people who may be down, and we're all vibrating there. There's nothing wrong with that. I used to always just stay there. That's the thing, and that's not very helpful, because when you're like that and you stay there, it's uncomfortable. So for me, having learned how to expand and deal with contractions, and finally just having expanded and accepted that, then what it comes down to is just seeing to it that the people in my reality, who I'm sharing physical, emotional, spiritual space with, that I'm doing what I can to make them happy. That's really it. That's when I feel best. When I know I've made someone who I really care about, when I've made them happy because of something that I thought to do or say. Ooh. It feels so good. And it feels good to give myself little gifts, to cut myself slack, and to let myself off the hook. You know? To allow myself my own truth. Even though I'm afraid of it. Even though it scares other people and turns them away sometimes. Because it draws others close. As it's drawn me sort of together. And so I feel really kind of like I finally can contain everything, but do I really need to? What's the point? Am I here to tell you how cool I am, but so that I can remind myself, because I've forgotten? That's the the subtitle. But once I remembered, and I'm okay with it, and I agree that I agree with who I am and what I am, and I'm just totally down with it. What can I do for you? What can I do for us? What can we do for them? And that's the hand-to-hand combat that's just as real as getting in somebody's shit. That's real too. And, you know, being the kind of person I am, that's part of the deal too. I'm good at it. I was trained in it. But there's so much more. Oh, so much more. And it's so much easier. And so I've talked a lot about focus and light quotient and all kinds of stuff. But I really like that it's an easy philosophy. Chanting and praying for the happiness of all. And actually doing things that make other people happy. It doesn't diminish me. Somehow, it was the caregiving, or it was the disappointments, or it was the abuse, or it was the violence, or it was the... And all of that dark stuff. Ooh, and it was super dark, some of it. Super duper dark. I mean, I attracted some pretty dark entities along the way. Yeah. Did that come from the outside? See, this is one of the big realizations I had last night. My ability to do battle quite effectively with very, very dark energy. And all of the other things I know to do, well, that's just not conferred by the stars. There's some people who have a natal chart and it's all about loving. It's all about happy relationships. It's all about accord and abundance and harmony. Yeah, that wasn't mine. How deep can you go? How mystical can it get? There was only a little bit of Scorpio in there, but whew. So, alright, okay, I generated it, I cop to it. So then the question is, do I want to keep, you know, dipping my brush into such dark colors? Is that a palette that agrees with me as I go toward this next thing? And you can't make a simple, oh, well, I think I'd like to do avocado and rust and gold now. You know, the 70s colors. No. It's not some flippant whim. It's lifetime. This has been about lifetime. But I think it's just been really more about just taking the lid off of a lifetime. And then just living kind of like, I don't know, jazz music. Truly. The idea of another pattern, another dome coming down around my consciousness and telling me what to do and how to think and how to respond. I don't know. If my sun's in Pisces and I've been all the signs and I've looked at all these aspects and all of this stuff and I've been doing this a long time, well then, that seems to be another way I can use the eclipse. And I don't think it's exclusive to just people who had birthdays in February. I think this stuff's available to everybody. I realize it's long and I really don't know why I'm doing this. However, normally when I don't know why I'm doing it, there is not an impetus, a push, a need. And I will instead think it highly indulgent. Why would I want to go yakety yakety into a camera if I'm not going to publish it? That's crazy. So then I'll totter off into my room and go watch some YouTube or, I don't know, talk with a friend or that kind of thing. So for me to sit down, and honestly, I have other things I kind of need to do. Plus, I've done 2 already. But here I am, knowing right this minute that I'm not in full memory of what I've said. So I know it's not just for me. And that's why I know I can release it. That's sort of my litmus test. If it's just for me to release myself from some narcissistic prison, or to bandage some owie that I've given myself because I haven't thought things through very clearly, why waste your time? Why waste my time? That's just like a, oh, high five, figure that out and move on. No, it's when the earth is shaking. When I smell something brand new in the wind, and I think by now it's fairly obvious, I'm rather sensitive to this kind of thing. I like how my appearance is just different. I don't know, I like it. I like it. I like the whole thing. And so, yeah, back of the brain, well, we'll see. We'll see how it is tomorrow. See, the thing is, every day is different. There was one day completely spaced out and full-on ascension flu. Next day, I woke up, I felt about 7 foot tall, with golden tan and very, very firm skin. Quite luscious, I should say. And just like completely, yeah, I got this shit. And, you know, it's just every day is different. Whatever. Today, it is like a super highway. It's just so amazing. So I remember Barb Marcianic did this one of a wake-up call. And there's this blue tube, and you're going through the tube. And they say, you know, this process will get so intense. It'll just get so, it just gets so intense. And you know, I had just had the casino thing. And I oh yeah, bring it on. Yeah, bring it on. Yeah, that was a really big, huge experience. Don't get me wrong. But what's happening in my awareness, in my countenance, just in everything now, rivals those hours I spent in such an altered place up there in Blackhawk. So I'm going to give this to you. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I hope it finds you well and happy and open and inquisitive and hopeful and excited. You know what I look forward to every night? I don't get them anymore very often, but ooh, every single night. I really look forward to sleep, and I'm really looking forward to tonight. It's really sparkly, and it's very altered states that I'm either awakened through and am aware of, or benefit from in the morning. But oh, I would love to have a dream with actual faces. Oh, and a story. And I don't know, like flowers I could smell, or a waterfall or something. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think I'm going to conjure up pictures before I go to sleep. I really want a dream. It's one of my, I wish upon a star for a dream. Just a dream. Make my heart feel better. Although it's aching a lot less now than it ever did. It's funny how extra information will do that to you. At least me. That's how I'm built. Alright, I guess that's all. I hope that it's okay to saturate the airwaves with yet another Deeply Awake. Tomorrow it's just going to be a one-shot deal, I hope. But, well, I honor the energy by expressing within it and then offering my expression to you from my heart to yours.